I never asked to be saved, especially not by another alpha. But there I was, blood on my lip, my jacket torn, and his hand wrapped around my arm like he owned me. "You're safe now," he said, his voice deep, certain, the kind of tone that didn't leave room for argument. Safe, right? If safe meant being pulled into someone else's territory war, sure. It had started that morning in the dusty main street of Ashridge, a small town in upstate New York where the scent of coffee from Mac's Diner mixed with the faint musk of dominance that only an alpha could pick up. I had been passing through, minding my own damn business, when a territorial patrol decided I was an uninvited guest, which technically I was. They circled me fast. 4 of them, grinning with that cruel kind of anticipation. I didn't back down. I never do. My father didn't raise me to bow to anyone. But then he appeared tall, broad, radiating that controlled, dangerous energy. His name, I'd find out later, was Marcus Kane. And Marcus didn't just walk into a fight. He took over. In seconds, the others scattered like leaves in the wind. His dominance was absolute, almost suffocating. And then his gaze landed on me. "Mine," he murmured. Not loudly, not for anyone else to hear, just for me. My stomach tightened not with fear, but with something I refused to name. The problem was Marcus wasn't wrong about one thing. We were both alphas. The difference? He thought that meant I'd roll over for him. By the time we reached his cabin on the edge of the forest, I was half tempted to walk right back into hostile territory just to get away from that smug confidence. "You don't have to do this," I said, standing at his doorway. "I do," he replied. "You're hurt. And until I know why you were in my territory, you're not leaving." I smirked. Sounds more like kidnapping than hospitality. His lips curved in a way that made my pulse kick. "Call it whatever you want." The cabin was warm, smelling faintly of pine and leather. He gave me a towel for my face, poured me coffee, and watched me like a hawk, like a predator waiting for me to make the wrong move. "You smell like power," he said finally. "Good nose." I shot back. "Now guess what else I'm not yours." The flicker in his eyes told me he wasn't used to being challenged. The days that followed were a push and pull of wills. I tested him at every turn, slipping out to walk the borders, returning with that satisfied smirk when I caught him tracking me. He cooked dinner without asking, but I refused to sit unless he did too. He'd brush past me in the hallway, his hand lingering a fraction too long at my lower back, and my body would betray me with heat I didn't want. But there were moments, quiet, unguarded ones, that shook me more than his dominance ever could. Like the night I woke from a nightmare, the echo of snarling teeth in my ears, and found him sitting on the floor beside the couch I'd claimed, just watching to make sure I was breathing. He didn't say anything, didn't touch me, just stayed until I fell asleep again. Or the afternoon he fixed the torn strap on my old leather pack without mentioning it, his rough hands careful with every stitch. He was infuriating. He was relentless. And he was starting to matter. When the rival pack came back, it wasn't for might, was for Marcus. But they used me as bait. I didn't wait for him to save me this time. I met them head-on, my own dominance flaring like wildfire. The look on their faces when they realized I was an alpha too was almost worth the bruises. Marcus arrived mid-fight, his fury a living thing. We stood back to back, 2 alphas moving like we'd been born for this, covering each other's blind spots, anticipating every strike. When it was over, the forest was silent except for our breathing. He turned to me, blood at the corner of his mouth, eyes blazing. "You could have been killed," he growled. "So could you." I shot back. For a heartbeat, neither of us moved. Then he stepped closer, so close our foreheads almost touched. "You're not mine," he said slowly, like the words cost him. "No," I whispered, "but maybe we're each other's." His smile was small but real. His hand found mine, rough fingers curling around with a grip that wasn't about ownership this time. It was about connection, choice. And for the first time since that morning on Main Street, I didn't feel like running. The moon was high by the time we reached the ridge. The rival pack had scattered for good, at least for now, but the forest still held the echo of growls and the metallic taste of adrenaline. I leaned against a tree, my knuckles split, my shirt torn. Marcus stood a few feet away, pacing like a caged wolf. "You should have stayed in the cabin," he said without looking at me. I laughed short and sharp. "And let them tear you apart? Not my style." He stopped pacing, his chest rising and falling hard. "You could have died, Evan." "So could you," I said, stepping toward him. "But we didn't. We fought. Together. That's what matters." His jaw tightened, and for a moment I thought he'd argue again. But instead, he closed the distance between us in 2 long strides. The forest was so quiet I could hear his heartbeat when he stopped inches away. "You drive me insane," he murmured, his voice low and rough. "Likewise," I whispered. His hand came up, hesitated, then cupped the side of my face. The touch was careful, almost reverent, as if he was afraid I'd pull away. But I didn't. I leaned into it, letting the heat of him ground me after the chaos of the night. "You're an alpha," he said, like he was finally accepting it. "So are you," I replied. "Maybe that's why this works." His thumb brushed the corner of my mouth, tracing the split in my lip. "It shouldn't. 2 alphasits supposed to be a disaster." I smiled faintly. "Then let's be the exception." Something shifted in his eyes then, the sharp dominance softening into something warmer, deeper. He bent his head until our foreheads touched, his breath mingling with mine. "No claims, no chains," he said. "Only choice," I finished for him. When his lips met mine, it wasn't about possession. It was about relief, about the fight we'd survived, about the stubborn, unshakable pull that had been building between us from the moment he stepped into that dusty street. The kiss deepened, slow and fierce, and for the first time since I'd set foot in Ashridge, I felt like I was exactly where I was supposed to be. Later, back at the cabin, the fire burned low as we sat side by side on the worn leather couch. His arm rested along the back, close enough that I could feel the heat of him without being caged. "You staying?" he asked, not looking at me. I thought of the road, the freedom I'd always chased, the miles that had defined me. And then I thought of him, if the way we'd fought, the way we'd survived, the way we'd found something that felt a lot like home. "Yeah," I said finally. "I'm staying." His smile was small, but it reached his eyes. And as the night settled around us, I realized something I'd never thought possible. Being someone's equal could feel a hell of a lot like belonging. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.